What's going on, everyone? Welcome to WWE The People, the podcast for the fans, by the fans. I'm Ted Terzansky. Joining me is Triple J Joe JG.
Yo.
Danny No-Go, Danny Nagowski.
Hey.
And Frank Gerhardt from Geek Spot News.
What's up?
Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
So, we're just going to go right in the Raw. I mean, Frank has it.
Go right in Raw.
Yeet. So we have a new Intercontinental Champion. I'll be honest with you, I really don't know how I feel about this. I kind of feel like I don't know if Braun pissed somebody off backstage, but I just don't I don't think they gave him a fair run with the title.
Agreed.
I agree with that, but I also agree that I think WWE realized they dropped the ball with Jay months ago, that this should have happened first with Jay.
I think it's a combination of the two.
Mm-hmm.
He had it for 51 days. And and he's already defended it more than the tag belts on either brand. But I think Pat McAfee started a little bit when he was still announcing they're going to turn a babyface. And because the crowd started to get behind him, the crowd started barking, and the crowd started getting behind him. So he wasn't really a heel anymore, even though he was still trying to be a heel. The crowd was turning, and I think they saw that. And while it's a good thing to capitalize with Jay now, even though they should have done this several times before, having him have the Intercontinental belt gives Jay the ability now to move between shows. And gets him over to SmackDown easier to reunite with them. Jay showing up on SmackDown with a belt and Roman not having a belt is ultimately awesome to see, because there's a complete role reversal.
Yeah, I mean, and I think that also could set up, that will set up for Survivor Series, because I do think, Jay's going to have a title defense before Survivor Series, and my prediction or my guess would be that he would Bloodline will interfere and cost him the title, and then that's how he gets on Roman's side.
Yeah, you got to give the title back to a heel, so that then Braun can come back humbled, less arrogant, and win the belt and go on a better run.
That's fair.
You think Braun and Gunther have a chance to have a good feud?
Eventually, I think that would be outstanding.
I
like that.
Because I was thinking about that the other day. I was like, well, maybe they're setting up for, in a couple of months for Gunther and Braun. I mean, I just think that would just be a good overall match.
Right now, he seems like the only logical opponent for Gunther.
Well, there's Sammy.
Ugh.
But I also think that putting the belt on Jay fixes the wrongs from the last year where he should have had it.
Yeah, I agree.
But it's also showing that they're not afraid to make a big title change like that on TV now, where they weren't really doing that in the past. They were sticking to big title changes at the pay-per-views or LEs or whatever the hell they're called now.
Pulling the swerve, too.
Right. And doing something major like that also is a show to, like, hey, screw you, USA, Netflix, look what we're doing. We're going to do big stuff. We're not going to just nickel and dime and give you the same old boring, oh, look, here's Gunther versus so-and-so on Raw. You know the title's not changing. Now you don't know.
Well, now, do you think that's smart to cut off your nose to spite your face since SmackDown's still on USA?
Well,
I could see it happening on Fox, because Fox and them had that rocky relationship towards the end. But I don't know, USA and them, they've been partners since. I mean, I know.
USA, SmackDown's supposed to go to 3 hours starting January, so that might be the compensation.
It's so dumb.
But like Frank said before in previous episodes, you could run 3 hours with the Bloodline stuff.
It's just that it doesn't feel like SmackDown this week doesn't feel like it was boring.
Yeah.
To me, I only watched the beginning segment and the last segment. I caught the highlight, but to me, it just feels like they are trying to slowly get away from Solo.
Yeah, before we go SmackDown, I just want to go cut back to Raw real quick because SmackDown's its own conversation in itself. But Dom Liv versus Rhea with Dom in a cage. That's funny.
He's going to be in a.
You gotta have him dangling though. You gotta have him dangling.
They did that before. Who was it?
Enzo.
That's right.
Really?
Yeah, and then he greased himself through it and all that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny because it's Dom.
It's from his hair.
I will say this. I mean, I think I mentioned it in the podcast before, but it's obviously not yet. But when the time comes where Dom has to turn babyface, which I believe it's going to be towards the end of Rey Mysterio's career, and it's going to be almost like Save My Dad type thing, the amount of pop that he's going to get then.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just, I think right now this is a great thing for Dom. Be he's the Power Ranger putty. You know what I mean? Just keep getting the freaking punches to the face and everything like that. And he's like Goldar more. But he can continue just being that guy. And then at one point, it's just going to turn and everybody's going to be cheering him. I think it's going to be awesome.
I headache.
I just think Dom. I love Dom so much. I think he's going to be he's a star now, but I think he's going to be a superstar within 2 years, maybe 3.
I agree. They've packaged him right, and his long-term storytelling. And I know they keep leaning on that phrase, but they're weaving stuff better. Like Vince was good. There was a time where Vince was great, and we wouldn't have what we have today if it wasn't for Vince in the 90s and the early 2000s.
Let's be real. If all this stuff probably didn't happen with Vince, he'd probably be there, and we'd be looking. And you know what? But not only that, he would end up being basically Frankie Valli backstage. You know, cool. The dude's going viral again because he's just there. He's brutal.
He looks like one of those things from Disney.
The animatronics.
Yeah, terrible.
Looks like a terrible animatronic. It looks like more like the ones from Chuck E. Cheese.
Would he still have the Snidely Whiplash mustache? But
I'm just saying, that's just there's got to be a time to hang it up, and Vince had to be. His hand was forced, and it's like that's what I think. That's one thing because I think if not, we wouldn't be saying right now. We wouldn't probably be having this podcast because we've been.
I don't think anybody disagrees with that.
Yeah, we were talking so much shit on WWE for 2-3 years before the Bloodline thing came about, and then the Vince thing. Yeah, it's just Frankie Valli and Vince McMahon on tour together.
Oh, what a night!
I like what you did there.
So, yeah,
JJ,
but I think that pretty much sums up Raw. So
what about? I mean, it's not really exciting, but the New Day.
Oh, that's the heel turn coming.
Or is it?
They're foreshadowing it. I mean, look at it's funny because I can use a lot more of these Power Ranger references because Ted's here. Now I know he gets it.
Lost.
But it's just funny. So I always say pay attention to the New Day's. I always pay attention to New Day's ring gear because it's always a nod towards. Yep, I have that too, but I just can't reach it. I have a nod. I always say it's a nod towards Dragon Ball Z, JJ, or Power Rangers, or comic books and stuff like that. But what's his name has been wearing a lot of the evil versions of Goku's his ring gear for Goku recently. Isn't that Goku when he's it's like an evil Goku or some shit like that?
Goku Black. Yeah,
so he's wearing a lot of that stuff. It's it's a lot of foreshadowing for this. It's coming. I think it's time. Unfortunately, I mean, Kofi I think is similar to Miz. He'll ride the wave or whatever, just happy to be there at this point.
Oh yeah, absolutely. He's done it all.
Yeah, but as for Mr. Creed or whatever else he calls himself in 3 different names on 3 different channels, I think it's time for him to have something. You know what I mean? And this is probably a very smart way of doing it. It's a shame what's his name got fired because they were using him as like a what was the guy that just got fired from them?
Odyssey Jones.
Omega Joe. Oh yeah.
Oh,
What did he do? What did he do again? Like what was it? He
Alleged.
Allegedly domestic violence?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, so did you see the stuff about Big E that just came out the other day? He's going to have kids in 3 to 6 months, and he said now I kind of saw this coming too, but that's just because it's wrestling and this always happens. After Edge came back, I figured anybody can come back from this next stuff. Kurt Angle came back from it, and
better than ever.
But still, like, so he might come back. So might they switch them up? Might he come back and stop him from turning?
I don't know.
I want to see him
kind
turn.
of bring them all, like sort this out. You know,
I want to
be the mediator.
You want to see Big E turn?
No, I want to see.
No, he wants to see them. Yeah, Xavier Woods.
Xavier Woods, yeah.
Thank you.
I don't know. The New Day to me hasn't been awesome since their first heel run when they first became the New Day.
Yeah,
I mean when they came out with the giant bagels and stuff like that, that was hilarious.
Yeah, it was. It was funny for a while. Then it was just like,
Bone.
So you're talking about like people who come back. Like I know they had. I'm not trying to jump all around here, but I know they had interviews several times with Wade Barrett, and he said he's good to go. He loves where he's at in wrestling, but if the storyline called for it, he would do it like another match or something like that. And I don't know if you noticed it or not, but like it kind of looked like they were like teasing a potential with Drew.
Yep, exactly.
Where I know we're still sort of on roll. Where does Drew go after the Punk match?
It has to be maybe a Barrett thing, like Danny was discussing.
But I don't know. I was thinking they maybe wait on that because here's the thing with the new guy that they got on Raw, commentator. You know, if they do it right, they can pull Wade Barrett from that for a little bit to be more talent when Pat McAfee comes back.
So January, because they say he's coming back for Netflix. So what's that? 3 months? 4 months?
Right. But he'll go to SmackDown. He'll be with Michael Cole.
Who, Barrett?
No, Pat McAfee.
Oh, Pat McAfee. I
they'll move
McAfee.
what's his name over to Raw if they do this Wade Barrett story. I think they would.
Joe Tessitore. That's
his name.
Raw.
Yeah.
I thought I'm confused. I thought Pat McAfee and Michael Cole were going to go back to Monday on Netflix.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
That's what I thought.
Okay. All right.
Like they don't like Corey calling the action yet, so
Corey's terrible.
He's another one. He's another one who's technically cleared. He's cleared to wrestle.
He can go be an agent or something. I can't stand him commentating. It's terrible.
I don't like Corey.
Nah. I think that's why.
I am indifferent. I don't really have much of an opinion. He's
an upgrade from Byron Saxton, that's for sure.
He doesn't bother me, and he doesn't wow me. You know what I mean? I mean, look, Pat McAfee is
awesome
star. You know what I mean?
Awesome.
And the way they do it with him is by far the smartest thing to do. Don't tell him anything that's going to happen. He doesn't know any of the storylines. His reactions are real, and that's how they want it to be. And it's very smart on Triple H and whoever else is back there, figuring it out.
Cole's done that, right? Like Michael Cole said before that he will not look at the results of some matches so that he is genuinely surprised.
That's cool. But Samantha Irvin does that too, right?
She does it all the time. Yeah, she never knows.
I think Pat.
That's why they're getting a ton of views now because of that on TikTok and stuff because they put a camera near her.
Yeah, they look genuinely surprised.
Yeah.
But I think Pat McAfee being there really opened everyone else up. Like how everyone's stiff and to the script, and now you see Michael Cole getting up and like he's staring at the monitor and stuff like that.
You also don't
makes you feel like a fan.
You also don't have Vince yelling in your ear. And not to go into the documentary, but there's like a 10-second little clip where they're showing Vince sitting at the thing, and Vince is telling him what to say, and you can hear the commentator, I think it's Cole, repeating exactly word for word.
Yeah.
I've heard that in the past. They've had that in the past.
Yeah. But without Vince there yelling in your ear, you're free to be
breath of fresh air.
Yeah. Oh, it's that part.
And I think they should. I think they should offer them. I mean, some of them need. Some of the commentators need to know a little bit of what's going on, who's coming back. Sometimes, because that gives them a little bit more content to work with and stuff like that. But I think, if anything, they should do with the Pat McAfee thing is one person at that table should not know a thing at all. No matter what, because Yeah, it's just so much more better, and the way they're treating it more, going into more like, hey, this is no longer the commentator table is not just gonna be a script. We're gonna be play-by-play broadcasters, and that's the way it should be.
I kind of miss the heel commentator though. Like I do miss that.
King.
Like King, Bobby Heenan. Like I miss that. Taz, yeah, I miss that.
They're trying to do it. They're trying to do it.
I even like JBL as a commentator.
JBL was decent. JBL was decent until he wasn't.
They try to do it a little bit with Corey and stuff like that, but the problem is when it's Pat McAfee and Michael Cole is it's like if you go back, they tried to make Pat McAfee kind of be that guy a little bit.
They did, yeah.
But it didn't work because everybody loves him too much.
Right. And the same thing with Michael Cole. He just wasn't a good heel commentator to begin with.
Right. But if you're not going to have that heel thing, like you're saying, like, because like I said, they do it with Corey right now. He does do that. But if you take, what would you rather? Would you rather have a scripted heel commentator or have somebody like Pat McAfee who is full, like basically innocent reactions, same reactions that we don't get.
It's not even a question.
Exactly.
Yeah, but if you have both of them being like, on the moment, I don't know. I would rather one, like you said, one on the moment and one knowing what's going to happen.
Well, if you look back at Pat like gave Gunther crap until Gunther like kind of confronted him about it. And then when he would show up, Pat was all like, "Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes." But that was natural. And
Pat does it, and Pat does it a little different. Like we were saying about the heels, it's almost like Pat McAfee does the same thing, but for the baby faces.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he antagonizes the heels that are in the ring. You know what I mean? So he kind of still does the same thing. But I particularly like. That's why, like, what's the guy's name now? The new guy.
Joe Tessitore.
Yeah, Pescapore.
He's good.
I like it. I like it a lot because it gives me.
See, I used to watch boxing. So I'm so used to listening to him, watching when I was watching boxing. It's kind of hard to make that switch from boxing to professional wrestling.
But for him, like I noticed right during all the press stuff for WrestleMania 40 was happening all that week, those 2 weeks. He was getting a lot of exclusive interviews with everybody. So I was watching a lot of interviews with him. I believe it was I think he was interviewing AJ Styles before that backstage thing happened with LA Knight and stuff like that. But I kind of didn't know him like that, like you did, but like I've seen him in the sports world. But like I really think I like what they're doing. I love that they're getting natural reactions from the commentators. Sure, I do miss King, Bobby Heenan, and all that, but unfortunately, the reality of it is there's no kayfabe really anymore. So everybody sees what's going on. So it's like, I think at this point, like bringing the commentators into more sports broadcasting, I think is really smart way to go.
So when Saturday night's main event comes back in December, who's your announce team?
Jesse Ventura, 100%.
I was thinking look at the timing when they just re-signed him.
Yep. You have to bring him in. Bring him in, and man, who else would you bring in? That's a great question.
Hogan.
Put him in. I know he does a lot. I know he does a lot of stuff with all wrestling companies and everything. But eventually, I would like to see if Chris, what's his name, would come over and do some wrestling commentary. Chris Van, whatever his name.
Van Vliet.
Yeah.
So I haven't really read too much on the main event stuff, but like, is that going to be a weekly thing, or is that like a once a month, or like a
good question? Now I'm not old enough to remember.
And Saturday Night, I remember Saturday Night Main Event. It was so freaking awesome.
Was it once a month? I don't remember because I wasn't around in the '80s and all that stuff for it.
I don't remember if it was once a month, but I always remember like they didn't have many pay-per-views as they did. You know what I mean? So like you always watch Saturday Superstars like in the morning time, which is basically filmed house shows.
So according to this, it originally aired for weeks that Saturday Night Live did not have new episodes from 85 to 91.
Wow.
It was revived in 2006 for 5 NBC episodes.
I remember that.
2008.
Now, is this going to be on Peacock or is
No,
this
NBC.
So it's gonna be on. So it's gonna be on.
All the old episodes are on Peacock right now.
So and if I remember correctly, it was only about an hour long.
Okay, so this says it's going to return in 2024 as a series of quarterly specials on NBC and stream live on Peacock. So
okay. Once every 3 months, 4 months.
That's fine.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
So it's technically it's a PLE on national television.
It's a mini pay-per-view. Yeah. I'm okay with that.
And they're also cutting down their live events, almost by 50%.
Right.
Which I think they should have done a while ago. I mean, because injuries can screw a lot of things up, you know. And so if they're gonna do this, I never have a desire to go to a house show.
I was just going to ask you that. Do they do house shows like that anymore?
But they do. They'll call it WWE Live. I used to go to them when Eddie and Andrew were young, and then when Danny was real young, because it's a cheaper experience, and you get to see the wrestlers and stuff.
Right.
But it's never the same, because it's one of those things where, I mean, Hogan put his freaking probably won that title 15 times in 1 week before the internet days and stuff. It was the same match. He body slammed Andre the Giant freaking 15 times before you saw it at WrestleMania. What was it, WrestleMania 2 or whatever? 3. So back then the house shows made sense. Right. Now with the internet and everything, I don't think it's necessary.
I agree with that.
This first Saturday night main event is going to be December 14th, and it's going to go head to head with All Elite Collision.
I wonder who's going to win that one.
Yeah. I don't know how much longer AEW is going to survive.
He's got money.
He's got
so much money. Yeah. We couldn't even begin to fathom the money that he has.
And they're I'm not going to football again.
It's funny you mentioned that, because I remember the one thing they were saying, why WCW fell was because Hogan was saying it was guaranteed money.
Yeah,
there was a lot of things that went wrong with WCW towards the end. More things went wrong than went right towards the end. Yeah. So we got Raw covered, Saturday night's main event. Now jumping to SmackDown. So now they're going to bring that song back. Now
I wish they would, man.
That's
the '90s WrestleMania.
That'd be great.
Song, right?
Yeah,
that's it's stuck in my head since WrestleMania 10 and WrestleMania 9. That waiting. I just remember that song being on repeat with the countdown on the pay-per-view, just waiting, and I'm sitting there going Dad, we got 30 seconds. Can I please press select and go? Please, because then you get the first 5 minutes of the intro, and then it cuts off. I'm like, shit.
Yeah.
But you hear.
So
I gotta pay $75 for what we get a replay right after
for free.
So for SmackDown, heel turns are imminent. Obviously, KO is going to be turning at some point,
someday. But
I'm kind of curious to see how this thing with him and Randy and Cody's going to go, because So my prediction is obviously. Cody's gonna face Roman at Crown Jewel. Bloodline, my opinion, Bloodline will probably interfere in that match, cost him the title, and then that's where the blocks start building for the Civil War at Survivor Series. So Roman will be busy with that. Then I think it's probably going to end up being a triple threat for the title at Survivor Series.
Okay.
Who do you got?
KO versus Randy versus Cody.
And KO's the only heel in that?
I don't know.
It doesn't make sense to turn Randy right now.
No.
Well, I also, I think I texted you guys last night. I think Randy Orton's trying to get to 300 pounds personally. I think that's his goal.
Dude, he's huge. He's huge.
He needs to stop. He needs to stop doing that, because I can't stand watching wrestling with my wife next to me when Randy Orton shows up on screen. It's causing a lot of problems. It's causing a lot of problems with our relationship. It's causing a lot of problems with our relationship.
Wait, Fat Randy? Won't Fat Randy help?
He's freaking jacked, bro.
She likes it beefy.
There's not 1 ounce of fat on that man now.
No. He's got like
So
1% of body fat.
If that.
That's just because he had a bag of Lay's after a match.
did you see he had a whole jar of Nutella before his Gunther match? Literally.
Did he really?
Yeah.
So Roman is advertised for October 11th, 18th, 25th, November 8th, 15th, and 22nd for SmackDown.
Damn, that's
I
over
did
a
see
month.
that. I did see something like that posted. He's going to be on a lot of TV stuff.
Back full time. So at some point in that, doesn't Heyman have to come back? Does Heyman come back with Jimmy? Does Heyman come back alone? Does Jimmy come back alone? Like, where's the...
Honestly, I believe... it's a good question.
I gave up on trying to guess this at this point.
So did I.
Yeah, you know why? Because there's been so many, like, obvious opportunities for them to do it, and they haven't. And then you get, like nobody knows what's going on with Jimmy. Like, it's just that weird thing in his dad. Like, everybody pray for Jimmy. Like, what? Like, what? And no explanation. He's had, like, 3 podcast interviews since it, and doesn't bring it up. It's like, what? Like, nobody's talking about this?
He recently talked about Jay trying to go to AEW. I'm like,
yeah, no way. There's no way. Jay is a rock star right now.
Of course.
Stupid to go there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
His merchandise sales are up. Okay, he's got the crowd in the palm of his hands, and if he goes to AEW, he could never have that kind of entrance there.
You look how fast Ricochet died out in AEW.
Well, I mean, we went to AEW when it's in its prime, and they still gave us better seats because they couldn't sell out.
Yeah,
the Liacouras Center.
Right, he can't have that kind of crowd reaction there because there's like 6 people in the crowd.
We were 4 of them.
Yeah.
Honestly, as far as this week's SmackDown goes, I was playing MLB The Show more, aside from some family drama, but I was playing MLB The Show mostly the whole night. And
I was having drinks with our friend Jimmy.
I was watching the Vince series.
I had a 10 o'clock hockey game. So
so
the Phillies losing 9-1 was more exciting than what SmackDown showed.
I turned the game on, turned it right off to put the Vince thing on.
I mean, you're gonna have that, you know.
Yeah,
you're gonna have your dead weeks, and
next week's the go home show, right? For both, because of Bad Blood.
Yeah.
Now I think that's going to be a really good pay per view.
You know what? I think we were just spoiled from basically from the Rumble all the way to Mania. It was just nonstop. They have to use Sheamus again, banger after banger after banger.
Burger
and it's like,
after burger.
You know what I mean? It's like we had so many Empire Strikes Back moments from January to freaking April that everything after it has just felt like The Last Jedi.
Oh, nice. I like that one. That was good. I appreciate that one.
A great movie. What if?
JK loves The Last Jedi.
I don't.
What if at Bad Blood, Cody and Roman, they're doing their match, KO comes out and stuns Roman and costs them the match because he's so angry at Roman, and that's where he turns. He stuns him, causes them to lose, because Cody kind of caused them to lose the match this week, right?
Yeah.
That lit the fuse a little more. What if KO comes out and causes Cody to lose the match? And that's where the turn happens.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see him coming out and like stunning like Solo or something like that. The ref sees it, and they get disqualification. And then you know KO and him end up doing. They're like, what is up? Blah, 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 blah. Then they get face to face, and then he stuns Cody and says, "Screw this!" and rolling. Then when he sees it, freaking jumps out, rolls out of the ring, and walks to the back. And then
Roman super punches both of them.
Yeah.
Paul, if you're watching this, I'll send my email over later. I can help.
Mm-hmm.
They're just that damn good.
But I mean, SmackDown was Bayley versus Naomi. Cool.
Oh yeah, did you see the botch on that?
I didn't watch.
So Bayley came out, and the background was Damage Control.
Yeah.
Oh, good for them.
who is another faction?
Jericho doesn't like that term.
Yes, botch. It's not.
Jericho looks like he just needs to give it up.
Jericho now looks like Mickey Rourke in The Wrestler.
Yes.
Yeah.
He needs to come back home and retire.
Yes.
Because they never had their match. He said, "Fine, I'll just I'll
become them."
Yeah.
The Bayley versus Naomi match was just like, okay. Was there going to be no turn? Andrade versus Carmelo Hayes version 47 was fine, right? And then
LA Knight.
I really like Andrade. I just feel like
I do too.
I just can't get over.
He just can't get over.
There's no heels.
I'm not. Exactly.
Everyone
there's
is a baby face, and this is what's driving me nuts right now.
Yes, SmackDown's
they
all
tried,
baby faces.
they tried him as a heel. You know
They
what I mean?
did, and they tried LA Knight. They kind of try to have him walk that line as he's kind of a guy the crowd still cheers him, but he's got an attitude, so he's trying to be a bit, but he's not. It's not working.
No.
What did LA Knight do?
Hey, last week they did the handshake fist bump thing that was awkward, and then there was a backstage segment this week where Andrade came up to him and told him that he doesn't respect him because he respects someone that shakes his hand after a good match. And then Carmelo Hayes came out of nowhere and blew LA Knight up over a box. It was pretty cool. And then after the match, LA Knight came down during their match, cost Andrade the match. LA Knight held his hand out, and Andrade just kind of like looked at him and left the ring.
So they're trying to turn LA Knight heel, you think?
No, I can't tell.
I mean, again, if he's got all this support and all this stuff, I mean, you can't really do it. Like, again, we'll go back to the Braun Breaker thing. You can't, you can't make him a heel if he's that over.
But could you make Cody a heel with him?
Oh, man, please. At this point, you got it.
Yeah, but JJ, you're thinking more like a fan, but
I know where you're getting at.
If you're thinking like business wise, like it's just
John Cena thing.
Again, I get it. That's why.
And you know what? Think about like your son is at the age where he's too young right now.
He loves Cody. He loves Cody,
but he's too young to understand that bad guy, good guy type thing
right.
just yet. But you give it another 2 years or so, and you see your Superman. You know what I mean? Who does all these things with kids and all this stuff like that. And then, like, by the time we got our heel turn of Hogan, we were all just about teenagers.
Yeah, we were ready for it.
We were
ready for it.
But if I was 10-year-old me, I would have been like, what the heck? But you know what I mean? But I was like 14, 15, and I was ready for it, you know?
Right.
So I don't think it's out of the cards down the line, but right now, a year into his first run as champ, you're going to turn Superman evil, you know? Like
I get it.
With the kayfabe being gone, and they still they show Roman Reigns, who's supposed to be a bad guy at the time. They show him in hospitals, and they show him doing all positive, good stuff. So there is that angle that they could still keep. And when you said his first title run, I hope it's his only title run.
No, I don't, because if you give him a decent story, you can actually make it, a good run. Right now, it's just not a good story.
No.
Give him another tag team title.
Oh, Jesus. I mean, you might as well have somebody defend it at this point, because nobody defends it like Frank brings up every week.
That's because nobody brings the titles. They just bring the titles out for show.
That's all they are.
I could start walking around with my Phillies title belt all the time. I'm not going to lose it.
Yeah, Well, isn't there supposed to be a title match coming up for Bad Blood?
For who?
For who?
I thought
For who?
I could be wrong. It's one of the tag team titles.
Really?
I thought I saw it was an upcoming.
Hold on.
I thought I saw an ad for like an upcoming ladder match or something like that. I don't know. I could be wrong.
Oh, that's actually on SmackDown next week.
Okay, there you go.
The Bloodline versus two other people.
Yeah,
I would love for them to give, like, whoever's writing the stories for the Bloodline and everything like that, let them get a crack at doing some tag team storylines, because it's just the tag teams are just not. It's not the same.
It's terrible.
I mean? It's almost like I'd rather them not exist at all, because
it's so bad.
I mean? Like having the days of like, you know, the Rockers and then the beginning of like I mean, let's be real, like that, like when have we actually seen a really good tag team breakup as good as Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty? Like you were invested in those two. Like,
the Hardys, maybe Edge and Christian. I mean,
yeah, but you know what? They didn't last long. They all went back together.
Right. Eddie and Chavo. That's a decent one.
That was a decent one. Yeah, that was a decent one. But like, I feel like the good thing they did. Now I know Marty Jannetty had his own personal issues and stuff like that, and obviously so did Shawn. But it was like, but at the same time, it's like they never got back together.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I feel like if you're gonna do this, like what's their names? Who's the idiots that have the titles now from Grayson Waller and like they always seem like
they don't have the titles.
Bloodline
has
I'm saying as a tag team, not the titles so much. The tag team. Like they've been teasing this little breakup here and there, and then all of a sudden they're best friends again. And then like I just felt like okay, they had something going there, and I think people were going to be invested, and then they just let it go, and then 3-4 weeks later something else happens, and Grayson Waller throws Austin, whatever his name is, Theory, under the bus again, and it's like you're losing us now. You know,
they're hurting for tag teams at the end of the day. Because I just saw they're repackaging your buddies, the Viking Raiders, again.
The War Raiders are now.
Yeah.
Next week on
Danny loves Viking wrestlers, everyone.
Next week on SmackDown.
It's a stupid Vince McMahon gimmick. It's almost as bad as Demolition.
Oh, but Demolition works so good, damn it.
Next week on
I'm gonna turn him into a tire man.
It's a ladder match against DIY and the
Repo Man.
It's a three team ladder match. That was awful. It's DIY and the Street Profits against the Bloodline.
They're the other ones I like, and they ruined them by doing the title thing that they did. You should have let them have it because people were actually
the Street Profits.
No.
Oh.
Well, actually, I do like Street Profits too, but
I do too.
But what's his name is a star. That's why he's going to be a solo star soon. So
they've been saying that for years now.
Yeah, but the problem is you got him and you got Carmelo Hayes, who are practically the same guy. One just has braids and the other one doesn't.
Yeah, but Angelo or Montez jumps higher.
Montez is awesome though, dude.
Yeah, he's
but
like when he goes out on his single run and gets like his own, I was like, dude, he's going to be.
Give that man the microphone for crying out loud.
He's great, dude.
Yeah,
he's great. It's like it's funny. Like I know, it's like everybody. How do you like deal with your wife being in the shadow? I'm like, yeah. If this dude gets an opportunity, you'll see he'll be probably bigger than his wife was.
Yeah, because what's going on with that too? By the way, they gave them the tag titles, and I haven't seen them since.
I think they're just still prepping Jade. So eventually, when she's ready to go, the two of them are going to have their big. This is going to go all the way to WrestleMania.
Okay.
Right now, I think they're keeping Jade and Bianca out there so you can see them. They're around, but you don't want to push Bianca too far ahead because you still want to be able to set up Jade and her at WrestleMania. Now, if Bianca is in a title run, Jade, I don't think is going to be ready for a title run this year.
No, not yet. But they got to give them. They got to get.
But I think if she has enough training and she's training with Bianca, everything, the two of them can have a great match at WrestleMania, which would really push Jade to another level.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think that's what they're doing because you can't have Bianca in the title picture if they're planning on using her and Jade come WrestleMania. That's what I think.
Fair enough.
Just get the Money in the Bank briefcase off of is it Tiffany Stratton?
She doesn't carry it anymore.
That's right.
I thought they were going to do that until they decided to Barbie up the briefcase and make replicas on WWEshop.com. Once you see that happen, you know that she's going to have it for a while. It was the same thing with Damian Priest. Once that purple one came out and you saw it on WWEshop.com, I said, well, we're going to have this freaking Money in the Bank for at least a year before he gets
and it was close to a year.
Yep, because they have to make that money off those replicas.
That was
you see the merchandise.
That was such a perfect cash in at WrestleMania.
That was a great cash in. Still nothing beats Seth Rollins' cash.
No.
Yeah.
Maybe that's because he had the 3.5 mile run to get to the ring beforehand. But that was still my favorite.
That's because nobody wanted Roman. That was when Roman was being shoved down everyone's throats, and no one wanted Roman.
That was what Roman and Brock. Lesnar, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
No one wanted it. No one wanted it.
I'm like, we're like, yeah, we were all cheering like, yeah. I was like, he's not down to the ring yet. It's taking forever to get down to the ring.
I still think the best win for Money in the Bank has to be Otis, because how many people got thrown off the top of Titan Towers? How many in that match?
Forgot about that.
Actually, that was actually a good one. My favorite Money in the Bank was the tag team. Was it no? My favorite like ladder match was that tag team one, obviously with the spear in midair and stuff like that.
Okay.
Like, yeah.
Oh, that's an all-timer.
I still believe Money in the Bank should not be its own pay-per-view. It should open up WrestleMania. Like
I agree 100%.
Like that was always the best opening for WrestleMania when they started doing that. And that was the same thing. I think that may have been the last time they did that was when Seth Rollins cashed in, wasn't it? He won that day, didn't he?
No. Seth had he had it for almost a year.
Oh wait.
I think the last time
he had a match with Randy Orton earlier that day.
Correct. Yeah, and lost.
Yeah, but that was when they did that. That he jumped up on to give him the stomp, the stomp, and then he did the RKO. Yeah. So he had two huge WrestleMania moments in
one day.
That's awesome.
So tonight on the CW, they're airing the Behind the Curtain documentary at 8:00. Tonight being September 28th for those watching this later. And apparently there's additional footage that wasn't in the awful version that we saw on YouTube that we waited a year for.
I forgot about that. That's how bad it was.
That means we're getting another round of memes from me.
Yes. I can't wait. I can't wait.
I'm sure I send some to Ted.
Frank's memes are on point.
Well, guys, let us know what you think in the comments. You know, I mean, again, like I said, every episode, you know, it's just 4 or 5 guys talking, but yeah, we're curious to hear what everyone else thinks. So, I think it was a good conversation, guys. So, I mean, next week, you know, we've got Bad Blood coming, and it's the go home show. So, I mean, it's going to be all the build-ups, and we'll go from there. So, I mean, I don't know what your plans are for Bad Blood, so I'll probably be watching it. So I'll be watching it. So, I mean, it's 7:00?
Saturday, right?
I'll see you guys over here.
Yep.
Be there. Saturday.
Yep, I'll be there.
On my way.
So, all right, guys. Well, I think that's going to do it for us today. Thanks for joining, and be sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys next time. All right, see you guys.